patient to understand our own inherent strengths and see kind of how you take it to the next level. A lot of times as investors and entrepreneurs, our time is spent in action, less of reflection, right? The one comforting thing for me in Hyderabad is I end up traveling almost out of 52 weeks, maybe 40 weeks to Bangalore, right, in a year. I spend 2 days, 3 days. For the next 4 days, I get to reflect so much in peace, right? That allows me, I'm not in that noise. I'm not lost in that noise. I can process and pick the signals that I need to pick. Because as a VC, at the end of the day, you're making maybe 12 or 14 investments a year, right? Depending on your strategy. So probably that's also a good thing even for entrepreneurial teams to sometimes, but also have quiet time for reflection.
Right. We only have a few minutes left, so I'd love to see if anybody in the audience has any questions for the panel. Put your hands up if you do. No questions, really? All right.
I have a point actually. I think the one thing, just to add on yours, I think you know, in the way we invest as a family office, it's a velocity-based investing. Where are the best investors going to the best deals and where they're based? So we've actually not, because we've not seen that velocity. But I think now there are obviously 3 unicorns, and then once you see a lot more velocity investments, suddenly you'll see a bunch of, you won't realize it. You know, how India hit 100 unicorns so quickly, it'll be a similar trajectory. And I think that will be exciting for the city.
Yeah, I think we have some questions, so just wait for those. And if you could say who, if you want to address anyone in particular.
I'm Venkat Srinivas Reddy from Hyderabad. This is to all of you. Sometime back, I listened to Mr. N.R. Narayan Murthy on a television event. He said that the skills are at a discount every 5 years that he has noticed. The first time the Infosys hired in the early 90s or mid 90s, they had to train only for 3 months. And 5 years later, they had to train for 6 months. 5 years later, for about 9 months. How do you see the situation now? It's addressed to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think from our side, it's all do it yourself. So we don't train at all. People figure it out. But I'm sure the experiences are different. From our portfolio company's side, it's similar. People go figure it out. The days of the IT consulting, training, those don't exist anymore, at least in new age tech. And with all platforms being DIY, really you don't need all those skills to be trained as well.
The other thing is, ours is typically product SaaS companies. You're not hiring a lot of people, you're hiring a few people. So you can be very selective in trying to hire the people who maybe already have some of the skills, and then you have to train them for a few months on your product. So it's very, I think, different from the Infosys model where you're hiring fresh out of college and then training them on a